Hey YouTube, Awesome Writer here. In today's video, we're going to be briefly talking about our first look at our Sumino recast with Oni Sister herself taking over the role of Sumino. We have the first pictures. I think some of them are just kind of like promotional shots from her at the cafe with like her changer and stuff. And then there's a couple shots also that are from the episode 40, because episode 40 is where she's making her debut. It appears to be a, delayed Halloween episode given, well, all the delays and stuff like that. And, they tried their best, I guess, to make her look like Sumino. It's not going to bother me one way or the other, unless she came out with, like, long blonde hair, red hair or something, and they're like, oh yeah, this is Sumino. Like, they kind of just gave her the bangs. She doesn't have, like, as wavy hair at the bottom, but they just kind of try to do the best approximation of the haircut. I think it looks slightly different than the first promo shots we got of her in the suit. So probably they're not going to explain this or anything. I just did a fun theory video the other day of like, how are they going to explain it? And honestly, I didn't expect them to or need them to. There are a lot of people being like, they don't need to. Why do people think that? And honestly, it's just kind of fun to speculate. I assume they're not going to address it, or the most they'll address it will be in a fun, cheeky little line like the Don Cheadle thing. But it's just kind of fun to theorize sometimes because of the precedent of shows like Beetleborgs or even Power Rangers, even other shows that aren't Toku related, jumping through hoops sometimes to explain a recast. And that can be fun because even though it's probably preferable to just normalize recasting and just go about business as usual, maybe have a fun little joke in there, it can be fun to see the creative ways that people come up with it. I think it stems back to me just seeing the weird explanations to everything that the Saban era did. So I imagine they'll just kind of do it without skipping a beat. I will be curious to see how these episodes wind up flowing. Obviously, 37 and 38 were noticeably chopped up. 38 was originally 39. This week's episode was a unplanned clip show, which apparently they integrated the footage of the original 38 with Gozyu Unicorn getting the power-up. I don't know how that was done exactly, meaning like, did they just say, oh, this is from an unseen adventure? Kind of like those episodes of Community that was like a clip show of adventures we didn't see, which is just really funny because usually clip shows are a bottle episode with like a budget reason to just show clips of stuff we've previously seen, and Community did one where it was all things we had never seen before, which was fun. So I imagine that's what it's like, and that's, I think, telling of probably how the rest of the series is going to flow, because likely trying to write a new version of her getting the power-up story or trying to integrate the footage would have been more costly, difficult, time-consuming, so this is probably the most efficient way to do it. It just makes me curious like how the next episodes are going to flow together in regards to how noticeable things might be. Obviously, now that you have a full cast there and don't have an awkward situation where the Black Ranger just is not there at all, they act like she never existed, and then she just happens to be in the background of a couple scenes with the suit on. If we'll notice that the difference in the footage, that they're probably going to take advantage of existing footage. I don't think they're reshooting all the episodes. By that I mean like every single scene. I think they're just going to be reshooting Sumino's coverage. But I'll be curious if it'll be noticeable when we shift back and forth between scenes with Sumino in it and existing scenes they already shot that might not have had her in it, or maybe they can cut her out of. I'm sure some will be more noticeable than others, but I'm just curious. It kind of reminds me of that situation with Daredevil when they decided to pivot and change directions, but they wanted to, save money or not lose money on footage they already spent the money on. I just said money so many times just then. And they spliced together the footage from the old Daredevil and the new. The difference is Daredevil is actually a good show, but I will be curious to see how it feels. I don't think the overall story is going to change that much. Part of me was excited by the idea of maybe this will result in an interesting storyline surrounding Sumino or something, but I get a feeling they're just going to want to do this as easy as possible, so it'll probably be like 99% of where we were going, just reshooting Sumino's scenes. I'll just be curious if when you watch them, there'll be a flow change trying to cut together already established footage with reshoots, or if like you have weird differences in like hair and costuming, because sometimes when movies and stuff do reshoots, you can notice people's hair is different. So yeah, I'm interested to see how the episode feels when we get to 40. I will be reviewing 39 and checking out the clip show in the next couple of days, but I'll be interested to see how the rest of the journey takes us, and for Toei to finally make an announcement about what's next so we can end the speculation about space sheriffs and universe heroes and Sentai ending and all that. But anyways guys, till next time, Dawson Writer, signing out.